Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first inaugural episode of Jtprowrestling. I'm your host, John Tutty, formerly King Tut of the Aftershock Corner, and John Tutty on the Pro Wrestling Roundtable. This is going to be in my new channel here, the new format. I'm just basically going to be talking to a microphone while you look at something like my logo or whatever the heck the big topic I'm talking about this week is. Now, let's get things started quickly here. So the big news story coming out of this week in professional wrestling is the Enzo Amore situation. For those of you who have lived under a rock for the past week, let me fill you in what has happened. Enzo Amore has been accused of sexual assault back in October. WWE is just finding out of this now. As soon as they found out, they suspended him, and a day later they fired him. So the current Cruiserweight champion has been fired. The Cruiserweight title has been up for vacancy. That's pretty much all it is wrestling. Now let's talk about Enzo's actions itself. If you read the report, it's quite deplorable what has happened, allegedly, that he did to this woman. He supposedly drugged her up, brought her to a room, and forced himself upon her. Got her really screwed up. There was a ton of drugs around, including, methamphetamines, some weed, and cocaine, as reported. Now, I want to point out these are mere speculations. Enzo Amore has not been formally charged as of today, as of this moment, which is 9:58 Eastern Time. But seeing how he's been fired, it's not looking good for him. And I do want to say this, that there's no excuse for behavior like this. I think WWE made the right move in firing him, because there is no excuse for this kind of behavior. And regardless of what I think of Enzo Amore as a professional wrestler or as himself, I'm talking about the guy, the man himself, who has been notoriously a dick, and he's been throwing off buses and kind of being an annoying little gnat. So he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt from me. Now, I could be wrong, and the charges could be dropped, but it's incredibly damaging to his reputation. He will not get a job again in professional wrestling, I think. And more than likely than not, it's guilty. So I guess the bottom line of the story is no means no. Stay away from situations like that, and stay away from people like that, because this guy, if all the reports and this is true, and he's an egotistical son of a bitch. That's what I think. As for what this maintains in wrestling, Daniel Bryan announced on Tuesday 205 Live that Enzo was officially stripped of the title. And they're going to name a 205 GM, as well as decide who the heck's going to be champion next. Me personally, I would disband this division. This division's been an absolute disaster from the start. Not really getting that much time on TV, short tag matches, no one really cares about it. Rich Swann got arrested for domestic abuse, which of course the charges were dropped earlier today, as well as this situation right here. I would absolutely drop this whole division if it were me. So that's going to do it for the Enzo stuff. Let's get to the big one, I think, me personally. Raw 25 happened this week, the 25th anniversary of Raw. What I expected from the show is that I would be a largely nostalgia show with very few storyline implications, and much to my surprise, I was 100% correct. This show was largely a nostalgia show, including appearances from The Undertaker, who cut a promo which led to nothing. Kind of sucks. DX squashing a young talent, which it was rumored to be Enzo Amore, but since he's not there anymore, it was the Revival, which sucks. They're two talented guys. I'm not gonna say they're buried yet. I'll wait a couple weeks, but until then, it's not looking good for the Revival. I mean, it's good for the club. At least they won the game. At least they won a match. Let's see here. Women's, they just are building up for the Women's Royal Rumble. Some of the returns were just held to backstage segments and nonsensical comedy. I guess the highlight of the show was Vince getting Stunner for the 8,000th millionth time that I've seen already. And the ending segment, which I thought was awesome. Braun just completely destroying everybody. Destroying Brock, hitting him with a running power slam through the announce table. I thought that was pretty cool. But besides that, there was really nothing to the show building up for the Royal Rumble except for The Miz winning the Intercontinental title. Which obviously frees up Roman to win the Royal Rumble, which I think he will, which we'll get to that when we get to the Rumble. I think that this whole nostalgia show, people getting outraged by the whole thing, what were you expecting? What were you expecting? Okay, if you're expecting this absolute stellar show, no. I was expecting the same thing I got at Raw 1000. I was expecting the exact same thing, and that's what I got. So I can't really be mad at the show. for that, because it was exactly where I thought it was going to be. What sucks is the people going to the Manhattan Center and paying $800 to sit front row. That sucks. But I think that this is much more a Cannon Father show that probably won't matter next week. Moving on to SmackDown. Cliff Notes version of SmackDown. It's been reported that Samir Singh has a torn ACL that he suffered last week against Bobby Roode. No really formal announcements for the Royal Rumble, who's going to be entered or anything. As for the main event picture scene, the big main event angle was AJ facing off against both Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, both of them facing back to back, which AJ Styles got laid out, and they're going to build up for the next co-champion, co-WWE champion. This was where they wanted to be. Other than that, not really much on the show of note, that is. Other than building up for the Royal Rumble match, the tag title matches and stuff like that. Not really that much to talk about on either one of these shows. I forgot to mention that Christian had a peep show with Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan, who's getting booed again, which I still find hysterical. I think it's absolutely 100% funny as hell. I guess we can move on now to NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. That's the first of two shows this weekend. Let me just pull up the card and I can discuss what I think is going to happen on the card. As someone who doesn't really watch NXT that much, I might as well, talk about it, because these takeover specials are really goddamn good, and they've always delivered, in my opinion. So let's take a look here. Starting with, we're gonna get Cassius Ohno versus the Velveteen Dream. The Velveteen Dream trying to follow up that big classic he had with Aleister Black last month. I will take him to win this match because they're obviously building up or something. We have the Undisputed Era, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly as the NXT Tag Champs going against the Authors of Pain with Paul Ellering for the NXT Tag titles. I think it would be stupid to take the belt off the Undisputed Era at this point. They're the hottest act in NXT. I keep the title on them. Ember Moon is facing off against Sonya Blazer. I will take Ember Moon because she just won the title. Aleister Black versus Adam Cole. This is the big match, I think. The match has potential to steal the show, obviously. Aleister Black, obviously, is a fantastic wrestler. And Adam Cole, Bebe, is also another great wrestler. It's going to be under Extreme Rules, forgot to mention that part. I don't know who to pick. I will go with Adam Cole to end Aleister Black's undefeated streak, because I think they're building up Cole to be in the main title picture. And our main event, Andrade Cien Almas defending his NXT Championship against Johnny Gargano. Salia Vega is in the corner of Andrade Cien Almas. I will take Andrade to win the match with a returning Tommaso Ciampa to cost Johnny Gargano, so we can build up for that match at NXT TakeOver New Orleans. As for the Royal Rumble, here we go, one of the big matches of the year. Hopefully it's better than last year's. Let's start with the two pre-show matches. The open challenge for the United States Champion Bobby Roode versus X. Fully expect this to be Dolph Ziggler in his return, and I expect Bobby Roode to retain or a false finish or double finish. Gallows St. Anderson versus The Revival. I will take the club to win because it's a pre-show match. Kalisto, Lince Dorado, Grand Metalik, TJP versus TJP, Gentleman Jack Gallagher, and Drew Gulak. I'll take the faces to win. As for the matches on the show, we have the Usos versus Benjables in the 2 out of 3 falls match for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championships of the World. I will take the Usos to retain the titles. The next up, we have the Daddy's Boys, Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan versus Sheamus and Cesaro. Fill in the music note there. For the Raw Tag Team Championships of the World, I will take Rollins and Jordan. I'll take them to win. But kind of in a shady fashion. AJ and defending his title in a handicap match. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. This is not the first time a handicap match has ever competed for a singles title. Look back at Backlash 2007 when McMahon, Umaga, and Shane McMahon went up against Bobby Lashley for the ECW Championship. That infamous match. I will take AJ to retain here because I think they're building up for something for this one. Brock, Braun, and Kane in a triple threat match for the Universal title. I'll take Brock to win. They're building up Brock. I don't think there's any chance that he does not drop his belt for Mania. As for the Women's Royal Rumble, as per announced so far this week, We have Naomi, Asuka, Ruby Riott, Natalya, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Carmella, Tamina, Lana, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Mickie James, Nia Jax, Becky Lynch, Alicia Fox, and Dana Brooke. Paige was originally supposed to be in here, but unfortunately she had to retire. I will take Nia Jax to win because I think they're building up for Nia versus Alexa now that Paige is not in this whole thing. And finally, in the men's Royal Rumble, Elias, Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura, John Cena, Finn Balor, Baron Corbin, Woken Matt Hardy, yes, Rusev, Aiden English, Apollo Crews, Titus O'Neil, The Miz, Ty Dillinger, Big E, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and Roman Reigns have been announced. Joe was originally supposed to be in this match, but unfortunately, due to a foot injury, he will not be participating. I'm taking Roman to win because they're building up for Roman versus Brock at Mania, and since he lost the title, that's what they're building up to. Alright, so that's going to do it for me here for the inaugural episode of JT Pro Wrestling. Remember to like the video, subscribe down below, press the bell so you get notifications for our new videos. Turn over to my friend James's channel, JHebertside95, to see custom Titantrons and stuff. Also turn over to my friend Owen's channel, Wrestling Fortune 44, CN Brothers, and Owen the Talkinator for various other videos of that topics. Also watch Weymouth Youth Wrestling on YouTube.com, another thing made by my friend James. Go back and see some of my old stuff. If you want to listen to more of my loudmouth, go back and watch some of the old episodes of the Pro Wrestling Roundtable and the Aftershock Corner. As plugs for me, listen to the Football Reporters 230, various other football videos coming out soon, including the AFC and NFC Championship game reviews. Please, 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 I need the views and the subscribes. But until then, I'm signing off, and enjoy your wrestling on Sunday, everybody.